Basically, not that it matters. I had to restart my currently watching K-dramas episode because some of the stuff that I was watching I have finished. So I was like, why should they be in this list if I'm not currently watching them? Doesn't really make sense. So obviously I scrapped the old one and now this is the newest one. So I will begin as follows. So the two dramas that I just finished was Reflection of You and Iron Family. Obviously I'm not talking about them in this episode because they're going to be in April watches that I'm going to cover, because obviously I was recording an episode for January watches and then I need to record that again. But Iron Family and Reflection of You, I'm going to talk about them in detail in the next episode. But I'm obviously going to start my list now. So I'm currently watching Reunited Worlds. So Reunited Worlds is about the fact that this guy, he dies and then he's able to come back to life for some reason. We haven't actually, I feel like where I am in the show, he has not been able to like find out why he's back or why he's even, but I feel like with a drama like that, him coming back must be to do with like, it's probably to do with like unfinished business, because that's mainly what you think about when people come back to life. That can only be the only explanation. Obviously he's come back to life. He's been able to connect with all of his siblings and he's been able to reunite with all of his friends. So, I feel like it's a drama that's pretty wholesome, I would say. I don't think that I would compare it to any kind of drama because it's very out of the box. That's what I will say, because that's what appealed me to it. I was like, oh, a drama where somebody's died has come back to life. I was like, that's very out of the box, because people can't really come back to life. It's unheard of. Well, like, reincarnation is not real. That's probably why I put in my article, I was like, think reincarnation and unpredictability, because you don't really know where the show is heading. You're like, this person has come back to life after being dead for like 12 years, and then you think to yourself, like, why is he back? What's going to happen with his life? Is he going to stay on Earth, even though he probably can't? Because it's like, he's not supposed to be there. Because the thing is that he also has powers, and he also and he also, like, he can't use phones, and he can't use the television, and he can't do all these different things because obviously he's just not supposed to be there. And I think, like, even probably Earth knows that he's not supposed to be there. That's probably why he's not able to do any of the stuff that he wants to do, because it's like, he's not actually just supposed to be there. And I don't know, I feel sorry for him. I'm currently, it has like 40 episodes, I think. Yeah, 40 episodes. So it's quite similar to Iron Family. Obviously, the drama that I was watching, because Iron Family had 36 and this drama has 40. And I think, with his, he just wants to like reconnect with his siblings. He kind of just wants to, have the life that he never was able to have. He's also obviously a teen, like he's back in his teen body, which obviously must be so difficult for him because he's around his friends who he was friends with in school, but nobody knows that he obviously was like a teen and everything. Nobody knows that those were his friends because obviously he still looks like a teen, and so people have to say that he's their nephew or cousin because of how he looks. But I'm very much enjoying it. I'm very much enjoying it generally because it is quite lighthearted. I feel like it's probably the most lighthearted one that I'm probably watching generally, actually, because I meant in terms of like yeah, in terms of like, how it just feels like it's obviously giving slice of life like most dramas sometimes do. So it's very relaxed, very chill, not too much like melancholic or sadness. I think it generally is. No, like I said, it is the only one out of this list that is one that I feel like I can put on and be like, oh, nothing bad's gonna happen in this, or like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, but it might do, but like not so far. Do you know what I mean? Because I hate when it's like, do you know what I mean? I hate when it's like it's a serious show, so you're like, oh, we don't know. Like I think probably one that I probably would say on this list, that's one that's like not unpredictable, but I mean, which is more serious, would probably be like Buried Hearts, something like that, something that's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's a drama that will probably that is probably quite serious and a lot of stuff happen in it that is serious. But anyways, number 2 on the list. Okay, so number 2 on the list is actually it's actually Melo Movie. I feel like now that I've now done another recording, it's like they're all over the place. Like everything's confusing, everything doesn't make sense. But don't worry. Don't worry. I'm in charge of the episode. I know what's going on, right? It's just my currently watching. I would think, in a way, now I should currently say, because before what the structure was for this episode was I wanted to say the main 2 that I'm actually like proper watching, but like not like, but I would say maybe the main 2 right now will probably be on this list, Dr. Romantic and Resident Playbook. That's what I would say. And I think Resident Playbook, because it recently just started, that's probably why. But anyway, back to Melo Movie. So Melo Movie is about it's a romance drama, so which aired on Valentine's Day, which was so lovely. I watched it when it came out on Valentine's Day because I was happy that it was coming out on Valentine's Day, and it is quite a very cute drama because it's about film. It's about this guy who's really into films, who does anything to get into film. So he's a kind of extra on a film set. Then he makes his way up the ladder, and then he becomes a film critic. And then the girl that he meets, because I feel like their first meet's quite cute, yeah. The girl that he meets her on the film set, and then so he becomes a film critic and she becomes a director. And obviously her dream was to obviously make like the name of the title of the drama, which is Melo Movie. So she wanted to direct a melancholic film, and we were like, that's so cute. So yeah, because melancholic, you get it. So she wanted to make a melancholic film, which obviously is how it goes. So obviously what it's about. It has 10, so that's not too bad. Like I feel like, what's the lowest thing that I'm watching right now? I don't think there is one, actually. No, there's not one. Except, actually, Melo Movie might be it. Melo Movie might be the one. The lowest episode thing on this list. I think the rest of them, obviously, I know that Reunited Worlds is the one with the most, and the rest of them are like 12 and 16 as usual, because you know what I mean, like that's what I always said. I've always said to you guys about dramas, like usually their duration is like it's either 12, it's either 8, 12, 16, and then 40, like, and then 40 plus, like, do you know what I mean? Like they'll have those dramas which are honestly long, and that's mainly period dramas. That's mainly period costume dramas. Those ones are the ones that you can expect to be very, very, very long. Why Reunited Worlds is long, I couldn't tell you. I would like to think that Reunited Worlds is long because it came out in 2017. That's all I do know. That's what I would feel like. It's 2017, so maybe that's why, or because it has a, like, you know what I mean? Because it has a complex storyline. Because I just mean that he reappears, obviously, like I said, he reappears 12 years after dying in a car accident and unchanged and seeking answers about his resurrection, and that he aims to resolve the mystery surrounding his death and make things right for his family. Do you know what I mean? And also clear his name. That's basically what I said to you guys. That was my synopsis. He just wants to clear his name. He wants to make things better for his family. And yeah, he wants to sort everything out. I feel like with Melo Movie, like, I guess they both just want to make it in the film world. I don't know if, like, with them, like, I feel like their relationship is quite enemies to lovers. But then I feel like also Melo Movie, it's not just him. It's also yeah, it's not just him that we're learning about. It's like, you know, the fact place where he gets his DVDs from is his friend, his brother, and then his friend's ex-girlfriend, and how, you know, all of them are interwoven. You know what I mean? I think I remember when me and my mum were watching Affection of You, which obviously I mentioned to you guys, which I just finished, was that it had loads of layers to it. It was a drama that had so much going on. Like, I wouldn't say Miller Movie has a lot going on, to be honest. It's quite clear. It's quite clear cut and straightforward. Like, Kogi Yam, he's a film critic. He loves film. That's pretty much all you need to know. Do you know what I mean? That's all you need to know going forwards. What I just thought about crazy while I'm speaking about my list is that I feel like my list and even this episode is going to motivate me to finish these dramas, because like some of them on this list, though, I've been watching for a long time. So it's like we have to actually get a move on. So I did also, the funny thing is, guys, you know what would have been on this list, but it's now not. It would have been what's it called? It would have been what's it called? Like, it would have been not Crash Landing You. I forget what the name is. What would have been on here? Yeah, I forget what the name is that would have been on here. Look, I'll come back and I'll say. Yeah, so what would have been on this list would have been It's Not Okay to Be Okay. But of course, the whole scandal with Kim So Young, I said no. I decided that I was not going to watch that anymore. Which is why I feel like most of the things that, okay, so there's some others that are not on this list, but I'll probably do another one. Do you know what I mean? I'll do another one. And I was just saying, obviously I meant this in that breath, that like this list is going to motivate me to finish these dramas. Like, I even feel like after doing this episode, like even today, I might go and watch one of these on here. Like, one of these on here, one of you are getting watched today. I don't know which one it is, but it's just one of you. Like, I think to myself, because I keep thinking about, like, because the way when you want to tackle something and the way of finishing things, you're like, okay, you're going to finish the one that has the lowest, which is obviously Melo Movie, which is obviously the one I'm talking about right now. Like, that's the one that we should probably be focusing on the most out of all of them. Because obviously it's the one that has the less, and then yeah, it's the one that has the less. That's literally the only reason. It's also interesting, I mean, but it's just that reason as well. I feel like, you know, when I think about Reunited Worlds, I think about it has 14. It's not the one that we can tackle right now. It's quite a gradual thing. Even though the thing with Reunited Worlds is quite easy to watch as well, because obviously it doesn't do, I was saying to somebody, it doesn't do spoilers at the end. Like, you know, when it does the nice end where they'll do the freeze frame and then obviously then they'll show you the preview. It doesn't have previews. So I do think that Reunited Worlds does have that concept of like being able to binge it. That makes it very, very simple, very easy. But imagine being able to binge watch 40 episodes like in a day, or like, yeah, just being able to do that. I don't think anyone will be able to do that. If you can, let me know. But I wouldn't, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone to do that. 40 episodes at least has to take you about a week or 2 weeks or more. Like, it's just not possible. Everyone knows the easiest thing to binge watch, right? The easiest things to binge watch, yeah, like 8 episodes that have 20 episodes, like that have a 20 duration. Do you know what I mean? That's the easiest thing to bang out. Something like Adolescence, probably, I feel like. Do you know what I mean? You can sit there in one sitting, not moving, watching that whole thing. But a show that has 40 episodes, no, it's gonna take you a moment. But anyway, let me move on to the next thing on the list, which is Buried Hearts. So Buried Hearts is about Seo Donju. It has 16 episodes. He is, yeah, it says, okay, I wrote in my write-up that he's a secretive corporate secretary whose mind is like a human calculator remembering things, which then helps him in order to break into a 2 trillion slush fund. Yeah, that's basically the synopsis. And that's why I said to you guys actually before, I was saying Buried Hearts is probably the one that I feel like right now you could say is the darkest, because I meant in darkest in the themes. That's what I mean. Like, it's like, obviously it's like, yeah, in terms of the themes, he's breaking into a fund that he's actually supposed to make him, but that's something that's very admirable about him. When I said that he's a bit of a walking human calculator, because he can remember things very easily. I wish I was like him. Do you know what I mean? You tell him one thing, you tell him like a passcode or something like that, and he's gonna remember it forever. That's sick. Like, I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? It's like, I wouldn't be able to remember, like, I wouldn't tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday. But he would, do you know what I mean? He'd be able to tell you what he had for breakfast, what the weather was like, what he did. He'd be able to tell you that all as follows. And that's what's so great about him. And yeah, and I think what was the main thing actually that pulled me in on this show was episode 1. Episode 1 was the pulling factor, and it was the thing that made me like continue with this show, because you guys will be like, Buried Hearts obviously has like recently finished as well. That's another note, but like that's not that. Anyways, it's like, even when a show's finished, not to deter you guys, that's what I mean. You can still watch it. Do you know what I mean? It's there, but it is finished. So of course I haven't finished. That's why it's on here. But it has officially finished. But I just would say that, yeah, the episode 1 ended on a plot twist, and that was what sold the deal for me. Like, there was nothing else. There was nothing else that was going to stop me from watching it. I was pre-seated. So I will be watching that more. Not today. Like, even though it's funny, because I keep saying, because obviously I said to you guys, I want to watch one today. So I'm like, should I flip a coin or, roll the dice? Because otherwise I'm like, how am I going to decide which one to choose? If not, maybe we should just do all of them, but like one each. Yeah. One each strategy sounds like the best thing, because it's like, why just pick one when you can just pick one each? The next one, okay, is Dr. Romantic, which started in 2016 and ended in 2023 and has 3 seasons. And I'm currently on season 2. Yeah, I'm currently on season 2. Obviously it's like the funny thing is I'm watching 2 hospital dramas right now, which is great. But the one that started recently, obviously, which is obviously on this list, which is Resident Playbook, that started like just this weekend, I think the 12th of April. Yeah, the 12th of April. So obviously I feel like that one inspired me to go back and finish watching Dr. Romantic, because I never had. It had been sitting on my continue watching for so long, gathering up dust, and so Resident Playbook kind of pushed me to go back to it, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna finish, don't worry. And I mean, it has 3 seasons, so I'm also like, you know what I mean? It's actually okay. Like, there's no rush. But anyways, I think I wrote up in my write-up that working in hospital isn't easy, but Dr. Boo Yong Joo can do it, no question. Like, Dr. Kim, talk about Dr. Kim. He's a legend. He's a legend. Like, I would want to work at his hospital too. I love the way, because it's like, even how he did in season 1, he was able to inspire his students, and even when they were having hard times, he was pushing them through. And I think you always need somebody like that, like, you know what I mean? Or the fact that, like, and the fact that Dr. Kim he's not even the chief of that hospital. He should be. But like, and that's not even me spoiling anything for you guys. He's not the chief of that hospital, but he should be. It's a real rinky-dink operation, real rinky-dink hospital. And it's like, he's never been the chief there, but he is like notorious there. Like, everyone knows how good he is and how good he is at doing operations, and like how good he is at saving lives, and how, yeah, how he's like, what is he? I don't know. He's Superman. He just can do everything. Do you know what I mean? But I do think obviously he goes through a lot too, though. Maybe because I think with those pressures that he has, it feels like a lot rests on his shoulders a lot of the time. And then people don't like him because he's so good. And I'm just like, don't be jealous. That's weird. And then I do think, obviously, and I feel like Dr. Romantic and Resident Playbook have that in common of like, yeah, like I said, the idea of working in hospital isn't easy, and like a lot of it can get you down, and like you can feel like, you know, you're not really supposed to be there. Like even I guess the character in season 2, which is Cha Eun-jae, who kind of like, you know, I mean, she finds it hard to do operations, so it's a bit of a thing where like everyone supports her. Do you know what I mean? And Dr. Kim, like, he's strict with his like junior doctors, but he's strict, but he's also loving. That's why the show's Dr. Romantic. You know what I mean? He's a romantic when it comes to saving lives and like being kind to his patients, but he also knows when the best time to tell somebody, oh, you're not doing this correctly, and like I'm gonna help you, but like, you know, do better, like, but in the most nicest way possible. Like, do you know what I mean? People will sometimes, when they want to tell you that you're not doing a good job, they want to tell you in the most harmful way. Like, why can't you use kind words and be polite? Like, and that's what he does. But he can, yeah, I mean, he can also be angry, but it's tough love. That, I mean, see, I found the term. I was thinking, what's the term that I'm looking for? But yes, it's tough love. What's wrong with that? Tough love is, is tough love the best kind of love? No. We should obviously also do like gentle parenting, all those good ones. But I just think, like, I guess with running a hospital like that, maybe tough love probably is the best possible one, because obviously he has so much to do. And as I said about the fact that it's not a large scale hospital like you'd think, like in Resident Playbook, that means it's harder to do things there. It's harder to like make sure everything runs smoothly. Like, he has a lot going on. He also can't tie in his junior doctors at the same time. It's a bit too much. That's why he says, pull your own weight up, because I'm really, really busy. So, and he's not wrong for that. The next one is Goodbye Earth. That came out like last year. Yeah, it came out last year, and it has 12 episodes. Hold on a second. Just needed to tidy up my article. But yes, it came out last year, and it has it has 12 episodes, and it's about apocalypse. Yeah. It's very, apocalyptic. That's the term that I would use, because obviously it's about like the world coming to an end, because they believe an asteroid is going to hit their planet. So, and it's about the risk of the world ending, and then treasuring moments with your loved ones, because obviously, if you were hit with the fact that that the earth is going to blow up, that is what you would do. And I guess, you know, what's the key thing that showed to me is that I think it's like in the drama, there's this nun, and she ends up stealing, I think. No, yes, she ends up stealing. And then, it's like, I think to myself, that's supposed to say to you that, like, it's a message. It's more that, like, oh, if you knew the world was ending, you'd do the most craziest of things, because you're unsure if you will be living. So you're like, that it makes you do the most craziest things. I'm like, I don't really think it's that, like, I think it's quite valid. Like, you know what I mean? I just think you're struck with the idea that you might not have long left on the planet, and it's not even like, you know, what's the word? It's involuntary. Like, you know, I feel like, well, death is involuntary, but it's just like, oh, an asteroid's coming to your planet. You didn't ask for it to come to the planet, and it's like you now want to like do crazy things that you wouldn't usually do. Like, she's a nun, guys. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying to you guys. She's a nun, and it's not something you'd peg her to do. So I think it just says a lot. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. You have people doing all this stuff and being protesters and like, I don't know, taking drugs and like, yeah, just doing the most craziest of stuff. Like, and all these different organizations and cults. And yeah, that's what this drama is about. Basically, I just summed it up for you, and I even told you guys about the nun. And the nun, I would say, yeah, is a spoiler somewhat, but you don't know when. I didn't tell you when that happens. Do you know what I mean? It's just a. Do you know what I mean? It's just a little. It's just a peek. Do you know what I mean? It's just a peek. But I just obviously wanted to say to you, like, that's basically what Goodbye Earth is about. I also feel like, yeah, I think, what did I say? I said about unpredictability already. I think I just mentioned that about Reunited Worlds. So, I feel like Goodbye Earth has that too, because the question of, yeah, you think to yourself, the question of the asteroid will hit their planet, you think it's like less likely. And then I think you also think with K-dramas, you're like, what, they wouldn't let these lot blow up their planet. I mean, you think to yourself, oh, they want to make it look realistic or and seem realistic about an asteroid happening. But I also think for K-dramas, they don't always like to do bad endings. Do you know what I mean? So I think to myself that they're really not, like, the planet's not gonna get blown up. And then it will be weird, because I was like to myself, like, my predictions for it, I was like to myself, oh, if their planet doesn't blow up, then they're all going to be quite upset, because it's like they would have done the most crazy things, lives would have been lost, and it would have all been for nothing. Like, you know what I mean? It would have all literally been for nothing. So, I don't know. That's what I also think to myself. Because that's the thing. You do think about that with a show like that. It's just two different ends. Two different sides. Either the planet doesn't blow up, or it does. And obviously, I already just said to you guys the option if it does. And then, I mean, if it doesn't, sorry. But then if it does, then, yeah, if it does, everyone's dead. So, yeah. But I would say Goodbye Up is very good, actually. I feel like I'm close to finishing this, actually. Don't know why I need to go back to this as well, because I'm probably like near the end, actually, like maybe 10, 9, like something like that. I'm near the end of it, so it's like I do need to go back. So, and I think I said in my write-up is that it makes me think of Next to You, obviously by Justin Bieber and Chris Brown, and If We Never Meet Again by Timbaland and Katy Perry. Because it's just like, yeah, you're just like, it's just, I guess, yeah, an asteroid makes you think of the uncertain, and it just makes you wonder, like, where will you be? What is going to happen next? And what do you do now as well? I meant, like, I guess for a lot of them, they're like, yeah, what do they do now with finding out the asteroid's coming, and how do they go forwards in that current time that it hasn't hit there yet? So, it's very interesting. And I like dramas like this. I think my mum was saying it to me. She was saying I like bleak dramas, and I was like, okay. It's like, God forbid a girl like melancholic dramas. God forbid a girl have a hobby. like what? I said, I'm sorry, but I just need those. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, we all like these type of dramas, you know, dramas that have realism. Just like, if that really was to happen, how would that take place for all of us? It's what I also thought about when I watched Killing Vote. Killing Vote, for me, I was like, oh, imagine if something like this happened, where there was an app where people were able to do a poll to kill people. Imagine what the world would look like. That would be insane. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why I watch it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a bit realistic, but it's obviously, no, we know that's fictional, but I guess when they do these dramas, they're supposed to have a hint of realism in them, and you're like, wow, if that really did happen, that would be crazy. That's the thing. I think K-dramas sometimes do this thing where it's like, yeah, they just say to us, what if? Do you know what I mean? They're like, what if? Like, do you know what I mean? They're saying to us, this show is not real, but what if? Because, like, Killing Vote sometimes, because when I watched it, felt kind of similar to, I felt similar to The Purge, right? And the concept of The Purge. And the concept of people going around murdering each other because the government was able to let them. And that happened in Killing Vote too. Like, it was just letting people murder each other. But obviously the law was getting involved in it and they were trying to stop the killing vote from getting bigger and bigger. But I guess exactly that is just the same kind of thing that would probably happen, is how it would happen in real life too. But I guess it highlights that, like, yeah, don't take life for granted. So that's why I guess it could also be said to be a slice of life. I wonder if it is one, but yeah, it could be said to be a slice of life drama, because obviously it has stuff that like make it seem like it is one. Even though they said it's a South Korean sci-fi dystopian television series. So I don't know if it's really slices of life, but I guess it says explores the psychological and social effects of an impending apocalypse. But yes, I recommend that if you're if you're into drama, sci-fi, and thriller, those kind of genres, then it's for you. Last but not least, on the currently watching K-drama list is Resident Playbook, which came out, obviously, I think, it officially started on the 12th of April, and it's about 4 young people struggling at wanting to become doctors and where their place is. So they're pretty much like, what do they always say? Like the lineup thing is it's like first year or whatever. It's like first year resident or something like that. Is always like how I think it works in being a doctor. Yeah, it's as follows. So at the Jongo branch of Medical Center, the series follows hospital lives and turbulent friendships of young and gynecology residents who proudly enter the unpopular department in the era of low birth rates. Oh, and it's translated to be the literal meaning is a life of resident that will be wise someday. And that obviously it's related to Hospital Playlist, which came out in 2020 to 2021. Because I think it's supposed to be the same center. And obviously, I mentioned about how I'm watching Dr. Romantic, and that's why I'm watching 2 hospital dramas at once. And obviously, this drama made me want to carry on watching Dr. Romantic because I found it really interesting. I found Resident Playbook very interesting, and I think the thing that like fills the most drying pool was like the idea of like, not being good at the thing that you want to be good at. That you want to be good at, and that like, so that you want to be good at, and that you try so hard to be good at. And I think also the main character, which is hold on. Hold on a second. So I was looking for the the main character, which is Oh Young, and she is a first year and gynecology registrant, but obviously it's like it's a hopeless time for her because she already quit being a doctor already, and it was like a thing where she was like, "Oh, I've tried working before, I just can't do it." She said it's not for me, and I was like, "Yeah." I feel like working is not for any of us. Like, it's not in any of our bones. It's a bit of a difficult thing. And that's why I really relate to her. And I think it's like she's there and she's not really knowing how long she's going to be there for. She's just trying her best right now. But she is, in her mind, she is looking to leave as soon as she can. So it's very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting, like how it is. I think they're supposed to be, yeah, they're supposed to be like Gen Z doctors. I think that's what the trailer was saying. It's just supposed to be that they're really young doctors. Um, yeah, they're really young. Oh, yeah, so they're meant to be really young doctors who, yeah, so they're meant to be really young doctors who are obviously just trying to find their way at being doctors, and they're just trying to navigate that kind of stuff and like the right things to do. And I think to myself that, yeah, like everyone gets like that, you know, when you first try your hand at something, it's like you're not always going to be immediately great at it. And I think that's what this showcases. Even if you want to be good at something, it's like your first time doing it. I think I saw similarities in that, because I feel like for when I was an apprentice, I was thinking to myself that like that struck a nerve with me, because I was like, wow, like obviously it can be hard doing something for the first time, and people will be very difficult with you. Like they'll be very difficult with you, like if you don't know how to do something, but it's actually your first time doing it. And that's why I think we should be more compassionate with each other, like when it comes to that, because it's all literally like it's our first time on earth, and like it's our first time doing things. Like we don't always know how to do things, so it's like we need support, we need help in order to do those things. So I would say that yeah, Resident Playbook's really good. Like I mean, I watched the two. Yeah, I watched them back to back already. Yeah, I watched them back to back already, and it's a shame that there's not even more than two out right now, because obviously it's a weekly drama, like obviously only on the weekends, so it's just like you have to wait, and you're like, oh, when's it gonna come out? But it's obviously won't be out for another while. And I think to me it's looking like it's gonna probably have 16. I'm just assuming that it's going to have 16. So yeah, I don't really know, but I feel like it's looking like that. Do you know what I mean? Or it could have longer, because maybe I should even check, like, because I know that a hospital playlist is supposed to be its, I don't know, predecessor of somewhat. So it's like, yeah, the hospital playlist, had 2 seasons. So it makes you think, and I think 2 seasons, like, is it 16? Yeah, so Hospital Playlist had 24 episodes, so I feel like Resident Playbook might carry out that same format. But if not, it could possibly be 16 as always. But I do feel like if obviously Hospital Playlist is its predecessor, that they would probably want to do the same length. Because I think it's the people who worked on Hospital Playlist are working on this one. So I feel like they would probably want to try to do the same thing. And yeah, they'd want to do the same thing. And I think, what does it say about Resident Playbook as well? Because obviously it's a Life of Resident will be wise someday. So it makes you think that obviously you want to stay with them in order to, yeah, to see how they become in it, how they become wise and everything like that. So yeah, and that reaches the end of this episode. What dramas are you watching right now, if you are watching any? And what's ones, maybe you might have seen some of the dramas mentioned already, and if so, what did you think about them?